Dear students and respected viewers, Assalamu alaikum and Eid Mubarak to all of you after Eid. We are meeting after a few days on the last Saturday. It was the occasion of Eid. But as you know, it's our class history, class 7th. We are talking about the towns, trade and craftsmen. That's our chapter of our history book, which is chapter number 7, in which we talked about the different towns and cities, how they came into being, in which we also discussed about the types of towns. And in types of towns, we talked about the capital towns, those cities which came into being, which were made the capitals by the different kings from time to time, and also those capitals are those cities which were made capitals by the different kings, and when they were made the capitals by the different kings, these cities became famous. They also became the center of trade. And there are other towns which are written on our book like as temple towns, those towns especially in India which had famous temples, large big temples. Those cities also became famous, or they also became the center of trade and commerce, because people used to visit these temples. And not only this, there were other places like as shrines. For example, in Delhi, people used to come to these these towns, and there are also pilgrimage towns. And after that, we talked about the craft towns. When we talked about the craft towns, we talked that the craftsmen belonging to the same craft settled at one place so that work could be done together. Now, in today, we have to talk about the commercial and trading towns. Commercial and trading towns, it is very simple and easy to understand. When we are talking about the commercial and trading towns, this is all about those towns which were not famous because they were capitals, or they were the temple towns or dargahs, but they were simply center of commerce and trade. And because of that availability of resource, or because availability of any particular product in a particular area, that product made that area famous, as well as that area became commercial and trading town. Now, commercial and trading towns, the area which have availability of any product, that area was engaged in the trade of that product. Very simple to understand, dear students. I will give a simple example. Sopur in the present era is called as Apple Town. Why? Because that area is famous in the production of apples, or there is a great availability of apples. That means this area, if it is famous, it is because of apples. Now, the people of area of Sopur, as well as of other nearby areas, are also engaged in the trade of apples, in fruit business, right? And in this way, in the past, some areas have a large production of any particular item or a thing. For example, Punjab was the trading center of wheat, Kanauj was trading rice and sugar. That means at that time, When we are talking about the Punjab, Punjab was trading center because it have a large production of wheat, and Kunuj, that is a second area, it became the commercial and trading center because it had also vast production of rice and sugar, and that rice and sugar was of best quality. Most important trading towns were Delhi, Agra, Lahore, Srinagar, etc. That means there were also other trading towns. But if we talked about the Punjab and Kunuj, these were simply examples. Some of them were the center of trade because those were port cities and were the center of sea trade also. You may have seen in movies, on TV, on internet that there are trade which is through 2 3 ways. For example, by road, by air, by water. When we are talking about by water, that means things or items are imported and as well as exported through the sea routes by the ships, right? Very easy to understand. For example, we load a truck from Kashmir to Jammu, in which we load the apples or any other thing, and in other parts of India they also have the service of train. That means that will also come in the road. On the other hand, we also have the air routes in which aeroplanes carry the things from country to country or from one state to another state. But in the in the medieval period, there were not so much technology, and they were importing and exporting the different goods through the sea routes. Now, if any place was near the sea, that place became the port, and with the passage of time that city grown up, and as well as this village turned into a city, and now this city also became the center of trade and commerce, and in this way this city was port. It was called also as port city and were the center of sea trade also. Now we have to talk about Hampi Vijayanagar kingdom. We also discussed about the Vijayanagar kingdom in our previous lectures. Hampi was its capital first. You should remember that Hampi was the capital of Vijayanagar kingdom. This is a case study on our book. When Delhi Sultanate lost its control over South, that means South India, new kingdom came into being. That kingdom was founded by two brothers, Harihara and Bukka, and this kingdom is simply called as Vijayanagar kingdom. And the Delhi Sultanate, which lost its control over the South India, it was under the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. That under the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, they lost its control over the South India. Hampi was its capital. As I told you earlier, that Vijayanagar was a kingdom and Hampi was its capital. It was situated on the bank of river Tunga Bhadra. The city was very protective and safe place. Now, when we are talking about the Hampi, and we are saying that this city was very protective and safe because a Persian traveler, Abdul Razak, he described it as a most protected and beautifully situated city which the people of his eye had never seen. Right? Because this city from the three sides have granite ridges on the other three sides, thus making it a very protected and safe place. Even today, the ruins of the city describe its magnificence and splendor. That means after 500 or 600, 700 years, if the ruins of the city are there, they are, when we visit this city, these ruins describe the magnificence and splendor of the city. That means after 700 years still this magnificence is very open, and we are very much, it is very much clear to us that this city at its own level, at its own birth or its adulthood, it had great magnificence and splendor. But as you know, in our topic, we are not discussing about the physical features of any city, or we are not discussing about the what I will call it is the defensive features, but we are talking about the commercial and trading features or purposes of a city. So we will also focus on that very point. Hampi was an important center of trade of spices and cotton. First of all, it is very much clear for us that India, from the very beginning as well as in the medieval period, has remained a center of trade, particularly of spices as well as of cotton. But it is center of trade, especially of spices. Hampi imported horses from Arabia. This also allowed the Portuguese to settle in port city of Goa. For example, let me make you clear. First of all, when we are talking about the Islam in Indian subcontinent, then we are saying it had come from the Arabia, and it is very much clear with Muhammad bin Qasim, Islam arrived in India, and those people, those Arabians, they were fighting war on horses, not on the elephants. And these people, Indians, they were fighting the war on the elephants. That means those people also imported horses, and now the trade of horses became a way of commerce and trade. When they imported horses from Arabia, this also allowed the Portuguese to settle in port city of Goa. Several other luxury items were imported and exported from Hampi to other countries. And those countries are Persia, Arabia, China, Burma, and many other states. And trading made Vijayanagar a famous and wealthy empire. But with the passage of time, as you know, it is very clear for us, nothing remains same for a long period of time, and Hampi lost its importance after the wall of Terracotta. Now, with this case study, it became clear for us that in the medieval period, Indian subcontinent was good in trading, in trade and commerce, and they were importing and exporting the different goods items as well as luxury items. This was our today's topic. Thank you.